journalist and Daily Ledger contributor Kimberly Dvorak. Kimberly, before we go to Kasich, tell me, big picture wise, is this even a war that's not a war, as Obama says, that is winnable? Or is this something from the White House that they can say, hey, we tried to do something about these terrorists?
Well, we've been in 14 conflicts in the Middle East since 1980, starting with Carter, as you mentioned in your lead up to this. Most people say, military people, foreign policy people say after, 20, 30 years of war over there, we're right back where we started. And in Sun Tzu, he said that you need to know your enemy, and the United States doesn't seem to know who our enemy is right now. Is it ISIS? Is it al-Nusra Front? Is it Al-Qaeda? Is it Qatar? Or, is it perhaps some of these countries that are funding the jihadis? I mean, right now, America is, just spinning its wheels and reacting. We're a powerful country, but we don't seem to be doing very powerful things in the region. And perhaps we might want to take a note from history here and either move on from this or actually just end this and send the Marines and get this done with.
Yeah, or not even put boots on the ground and just bombard with leaflets saying, hey, we're going to flatten this zone and that zone and just do it and say, hey, you pick up the pieces, let the chips fall where they may. I don't know. But, you hit a very valid point there. These states in the region, the Middle East, that are, in the public, they're supporting our effort, but covertly, they're supporting activities either identical to or the Islamic State themselves. Yeah. So it's duplicitous completely the way they are treating us, and it's absolutely insane. And then we do these airstrikes that we don't know if they're doing any damage. The only way you can confirm that the airstrikes are doing damage if we have some sort of intelligence on the ground.
Yeah, and again, we need to look at, the Saudi Arabians, Qatar, UAE, and the other partners there in the region. They've been arming. We've been selling them weapons over the past couple of years in the tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. They've been purchasing this. What are they seeing that we aren't?
Right. And now we have Turkey. Turkey's going to be a key player in all this, correct? Because at first they were kind of on the fence. Now they're leaning toward possibly helping out with the, quote, coalition. And once they get involved, it kind of changes the whole dynamic, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've asked the question here. I've put it to the White House and the Pentagon. If Turkey has, their soldiers go over there, they get involved, and they, suffer casualties, is this going to be something where the 28 UN or the NATO partners go in and now it's a full-fledged war? Because the NATO policy is all for one, one for all,
right.
And no discussion about that whatsoever. And nothing's going to happen with Turkey. They want a no-fly zone. That's not going to happen. We've seen the absolute disaster that provided for us over in Libya, which again is a completely failed state, as is Yemen.
This is humiliating to me, to see these Westerners, these two Americans, being victimized, beheaded by these heathens. It's, to me, Jimmy Carter all over again, late 1970s, all over again, very akin to the Iranian hostage drama, where a president was paralyzed. The only difference here is there's a couple. One is that these people are dying. They're not just being held hostage. They're being murdered. And number two, at least Jimmy Carter seemed as though he cared and had a lot of angst over it. Obama, I hate to use the word detached again, but I don't know where he is on this. If I were the president, I'd be out front and center saying, hey, you're going to pay the price, and you're going to pay heavy.
Yeah, I think that when you look at that, you need to, kind of, again, it goes back to knowing our enemy. Is ISIS just an extension or an evolution, let's say, of the Anbar Awakening, in which General Allen, who's the civilian in charge now to try to figure out what to do here in the Middle East, in Iraq in particular, he engineered the Anbar Awakening. Now, is this, is this the results of the Anbar Awakening? Is the president, aware? I mean, you seem to, we've seen over the past couple of weeks, Leon Panetta who was, one of his top guys, completely bailing on the president's foreign policy, saying that he wouldn't listen. He's abandoning ship, so to speak. He was around for the Carter years. He knew what happened under Carter. And when you start seeing, prevalent and leading Democrats starting to jump ship from the president, you have to question, where is this president? Where is the U.S. strength and power? We are leading from behind on this, but we're also letting these guys, win. I mean, just win the battle of the hearts and minds. And again, this is an all or nothing. This is a zero-sum game right now. And if the United States doesn't turn, we had an opportunity. Let me put it this way. We had an opportunity on the Damascus to Baghdad highway to make this the highway of death too, just like we did in the Kuwait War. Instead, we've allowed the Damascus to Baghdad highway to become known as the highway of plunder, where ISIS and the terrorists have confiscated weapons. They've completely knocked out an Iraqi army who has been, for all intents and purposes, better trained, better armed, and they ran from the enemy. This is the result of the United States being involved in this policy, not knowing their enemy, and clearly we have nowhere to go.
And this notion of trying to superimpose democracy on the Arab world is a complete and total fantasy, because they do not have what we call a civil society.
No, they
Kimberly, thanks. Coming up next.